So it's week 3 and you're doing the mid-module check. It is 6 questions and 2 are short response. Please make sure you use one attempt, wait for me or Miss Meehan to give you some feedback, and then use your other attempts. Question 5 and 6 will not be automatically graded. We do have to grade those by hand. So please do not take the test again until we are able to grade those, because you won't know your final score until then. Okay, so now question 1. I'm just going to make up an example of the same type. So let's say I have a poster that is 18 inches by 12 inches. I kind of did that backwards there, or whatever. So it's 18 inches by 12 inches. What will the dimensions of the poster be if I scale it down by a scale factor of 1/6? So whenever it gives you a scale factor like that, what it wants you to do is multiply each side length by the factor. So I'm going to do 18 times 1/6. If you ever don't have a denominator, I would turn it into a fraction and make the denominator 1. So 18 times 1 is 18. 1 times 6 is 6. 18 divided by 6 is 3. My final answer there would be 3 inches. So my final answer there would be 3 inches. I'm going to do the same thing with the other side. I'm going to do 12 over 1 times 1/6. 12 times 1 is 12. 1 times 6 is 6. 12 divided by 6 is 2 inches. So my final answer would be 3 inches by 2 inches. Okay. So that's how I would do number 1. I'm going to move on to number 2. Number 2, it says a triangle can be formed with side lengths. Here. So, a triangle can be formed with side lengths. And I'll give a few examples. So 7, 9, 12, 3, 5, 8, 2, 3, 7. Okay, so when we're doing these, we are going to use the triangle side length rule. I don't know if that's the actual name for it, but that's what I call it. So it tells us 2 smallest sides added together must be larger than the longest side. Okay, so again, the 2 smallest sides added together must be larger than the longest side. So let's look back at these. My 2 smallest sides here are 7 and 9. 7 plus 9 is 16, which is greater than 12. So it works out. Okay, so here 3 and 5 are our smallest sides. So 3 plus 5 equals 8. 8 is not larger than 8. So it does not work. And the last one. 2 plus 3 equals 5. 5 is not larger than 7. So that one also does not work. Again, they're not always going to be in order from least to greatest, so make sure you're pulling those out in the correct order. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and go to question number 3. Okay. So question number 3, it asks how many triangles can be made in certain situations. So there's a bunch of different situations, so there's no one. An obtuse triangle has one obtuse angle and 2 acute angles, and an obtuse angle is an angle that's greater than 90 degrees. A right triangle has one right angle, which is 90 degrees, and 2 acute angles. And an acute triangle has 3 acute angles, which are less than 90 degrees. So that's what I would look at first when it gives you like an angle value or says that there's a right angle and an obtuse angle. So there can never be 2 obtuse angles. There can never be 2 angles that are larger than 90 degrees. If there is one angle that is 90 degrees or higher, the other 2 angles must be acute. Okay? And there's some side lengths given. If you can draw more than one triangle like that, if you can draw more than 2, right? Then that's what you're going to pick. It's with the side lengths, it's all about drawing it out. If it says 2 side lengths have to be the same and that means 2 angles have to be the same. Is there any other way you can do that? Maybe not, depending on what that other angle is, if it gives it to you or not. If it gives you 1 side length and 1 angle, odds are you can do a lot with that because there's no really requirement. Okay, so make sure you're reading those carefully. If you have more specific questions based on your specific problem, like I've said before, guys, there's 6 different versions of the test. And each time you submit it, your questions change. So please, please, please read everything super carefully. If you have questions about that one, you can reach out to me. Okay, let's go ahead and look at number 4. It says find the measure of angle x. So it looks something like this. It's like 2 triangles. Okay, and it says x and y, and I'm going to say 28 and 47. Okay, so x and y here are what we like to call vertical angles. This means they have the same measurement. Example, if x equals 50 degrees, y equals 50 degrees. They're always going to be the same if they're vertical like this. Just like these 2 angles would be the same if we were looking for those. In order to find x, we first need to find y. And we can find y because I know that all 3 angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees. So when we add all 3 of those angles together, it has to equal 180 degrees. So that tells me 28 plus 47 plus y equals 180. So I'm going to do 180 minus 28. 10 minus 8 is 2. 7 minus 2 is 5. 152. And I'm going to subtract 47. 12 minus 7 is 5. 4 minus 4 is 0. So that tells me it's going to be y is 105 degrees. And because of vertical angles, that tells me x is 105 degrees. Okay, so that would be my final answer. Okay, go ahead and move to number 5. So number 5, it says a scale drawing of a room is shown below. The scale is 1 to 22. So that's it. So I have 7 inches and 12 inches. My scale is 1 to 22. And they want me to find the area. My pen's dying. Find the area of jewel room. Okay, so what they gave me here, that is my scale drawing. They want me to find the area of my room. And it says you must show your work. So you should have a few things written there, not just the answer. So the first thing I'm going to do, sorry, just grab a different color. So the first thing I'm going to do is multiply each of my sides by the scale. So 7 times 22 is 154 inches, and 12 times 22 is 264 inches. Oh, sorry, I forgot. It says find the area of the actual room in square feet. I forgot that. Very important detail. So here, now that we know our new side lengths, we have to find the area. And I know that area is length times width. So that tells me I'm going to do 154 times 264. And that's going to equal 40,656 inches squared. But remember, they want the answer in square feet. So I know that there's 12 inches in 1 foot. Therefore, in order to go from inches to feet, I'm going to have to divide 40,656 by 12. Put that in my calculator, because we don't got all day. And my final answer is 3,388. So guys, I know there's a lot of like complex math here. Make sure you use a calculator if you need to. I don't expect you to do this all in your head. If you want to write it out, do it like that. Whatever's easier for you. If you don't have a calculator at home, you can always open one in the Google browser. Okay, so this is what I want to see, is this step, and then this step in your answer. Okay, so let's go ahead and move to number 6. Our final questions. This one goes back to angle relationships. So I have something that looks kind of like this. I don't know if you have the same thing, but it's all very similar. So it tells me Y is here, X is here. This is 52 degrees, and this is 78 degrees. It also tells me that these form a straight line. And I know that a straight line is 180 degrees, just like a triangle. You'll notice a trend here. A lot of things that have to be 180 degrees. So a straight line is 180 degrees. That means these three added together has to equal 180. So 78 plus 52 plus y equals 180. So I'm going to do the same thing I did in that other problem. 180 minus 78. 10 minus 8 is 2. 7 minus 7 is 0. And then minus 52. Okay, 10 minus 1 is 50. So that tells me y equals 50 degrees. And do you know what the relationship between x and y are? And it's one we already saw before. They're opposite. So that tells me they are vertical angles. So x and y, vertical angles. Okay, so that tells me they're going to be the exact same thing. And that's it for y. So I want you to write and solve the equation. This would be your equation. And then you can just write your answers, okay? If you want, I really recommend it, is using the vocabulary when doing this. Gets you that extra step. It's really, really good, really important to have that vocab in there. So try to use that, okay? If you guys have any questions, please, please, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. I hope to see you guys again soon. I will also be doing a Zoom tomorrow if you want to stop